Wow. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, welcome everyone to a brand new episode here of Sports Bets, but mostly chaos.
Chaos.
If you don't already know this, I am Craig.
I am Jonathan.
I'm on vacation again.
I'm Jason.
Anyways, and get this out of the way now. Happy Halloween. Happy early Halloween to everyone. I hope everyone celebrates safely.
John, why are you in your costume right now? Jesus Christ, you're gonna scare our viewers.
Oh, that's nasty.
You ain't wrong. Yeah.
Damn. All right, we already starting off on a great note right on that one. So, but anyways, we have a plenty of stuff to get to. All four big sports got action going on. We are covering them all, as well as the usual stuff. Cohooney 5, it's back. We got softball to go over. John's bowling recap to go to. Get off my lawn. It had a 2-week hiatus. Well, guess what? It is back.
The lawn is back, baby.
The lawn, it's back. It's freshly mowed. That was a bad joke. Anyways, then we got our good old hit it or quit it segment and everything, all that good stuff, everything in between. So, all right, we're going to get things going. We're going to jump things right into Major League Baseball as the World Series.
Who's Laureano?
We were unable to go over it last week. We just had a lot of stuff on the docket. We had too many things we want to put our attention to. So we just kind of took a glance at it. And but anyways, it is the Braves and the Astros. 2 games down. They've switched, not switched. They've both traded off a victory each as the series is, currently shifting over to Atlanta. And I guess so that's you guys, just what you've seen so far. And I guess who do you guys like to come out of this World Series with the championship?
The Braves. I mean, who do we like to see out of this? What the fuck? Like, fuck the Astros. Fuck Correa. Move on.
Daddy, chill.
Kind of what Ben said.
Okay,
pretty much.
I'm glad we're not gonna have a whole lot to add into this one though, but
it did suck that Morton went down. We'll see it. We'll see if that really affects the Braves much. He's probably not going to pitch.
Incredibly badass,
right?
But incredibly badass for him to pitch through. And I will say, it's a good chance that at the end of the season, no matter what happens, who wins this thing, one of the top highlights of the entire year, just of all of baseball, if fans voted, the number one choice just might be Charlie Morton striking out Jose Altuve with a broken leg. So, that might receive a chunk of votes on that one. So it might have. It may or may not have my vote too.
Screw Schilling's bloody sock. That beats it.
Yeah, that might be a more legendary moment than the Schilling bloody sock game. So, but anyways,
Well, you guys.
I guess what's crazy to think is that, and I've said this to John kind of off the air, it's kind of incredible to me to think that, if the Astros do pull off this World Series, I mean, look at the guys that are starting: Framber Valdez, Jose Urquidy. Look at these guys that are starting, considering that they have guys on this roster. And don't get me wrong, I know that, for example, Justin Verlander has been out all year long recovering from Tommy John. But they also have a guy like Zach Greinke who is healthy, but he just hasn't pitched well. So he's been coming out of the bullpen in games. And Lance McCullers, another guy who's been solid for them in the playoffs. He's been out since the division series with the arm injury as well. So those 3 guys are essentially all not throwing, other than, Greinke coming out of the bullpen. But just kind of crazy to think that these are the guys that are at the starting helm for him. And I don't know. I thought when they got down 2-1 to Boston in the ALCS, I thought that was the one thing that was going to end up costing, was the fact that it didn't really have a big top guy in that rotation. But they proved me wrong on that one. So I don't know, but that's just my thought. I think it's just crazy to think that they've been able to do with those guys on the mound. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they're bad starters, but they're not super well-known guys that, you'd expect from a team in the World Series.
Yeah. I mean, it's just weird because, Framber Valdez, he had a breakout year last year, and he was one of the best pitchers in the whole league. And then this year, I don't know if it was just that he's dealing with nagging injuries all season, but he wasn't the pitcher from last year. But he's still very talented. Urquidy it's weird. I'm not a huge fan of him, but he's getting it done. A lot of people love that guy, but I mean, he hasn't impressed me. And then I think it's Garcia's the other starter that just came out of nowhere
Luis
this year.
Garcia, that was guy.
That was the one where he came out of nowhere. He's like, where did this guy come from? And now he's pitching the World Series for them. It's like, yeah, that starting pitching, you look at it and you're like, that's not a World Series team. But then you look at their, top 7 hitters on that roster, and you're like, oh, there we go. That's what it is. They can do what the A's couldn't do last year. They can win like 8-7 or 10-11. Even if their pitching staff struggles, their hitters make up for it. They don't. They're not going to get shut out in the game most likely.
Yeah. Jay, any thoughts?
I've really followed the World Series that much. I think the Braves. I'm pulling for the Braves. Obviously, it's been 20 years since they've been in the World Series. Like John said, they got a pretty good lineup.
That's
kind of like Giants-esque. Like they don't have a lot of big names, but
let's not forget too, they're without Ronald Acuna Jr.
Well, they're without Acuna, and don't forget Ozuna got hit with the whole off the diamond controversy situation, so he hasn't been playing either. So two of their best hitters they don't have, and the moves. Looking back at the deadline, the Braves made the best moves of the whole league, and that's what got them there. They went and got Jorge Soler out of KC. He smacked the home run the very first at bat of the World Series. Travis D'Arnaud, they got him back. They had him last year. They went back and traded for him. He's been big for them out at catcher. So the moves that they made at the deadline, you could argue that's what got them where they are, because a team
I want winners.
Lost their best hitter and the best fielder in Acuna, and they lost Ozuna. They are so deep with the moves that they made. They had Dansby Swanson is batting 9th.
Yeah.
In the World Series. That guy was batting at one point cleanup, for them. So it's just kind of crazy to think how
you're a big Dansby Swanson fan, aren't you, John?
My team sucks.
Isn't Dansby Swanson, really quick on a side note here, when we used to play the MLB league, didn't you have the Braves, and wasn't he the guy that you just absolutely couldn't stand?
Yeah, because we were playing the show league, and after 5 games, after 5 games, I didn't have a single hit with him, so I traded him. I was like,
maybe it was the user, not the player. Who knows?
Well,
it was definitely the user. It was definitely the user, not the player. But
Right.
All right. We have one story we're gonna get to, but anyways, quickly before we move on, predictions. It's 1-1, so it's not like any team's up 2-0 to influence our picks, but it's 1-1 apiece. So, boys, really quickly, World Series predictions. How's it gonna play out?
Unfortunately, I think Astros in 6.
All right, Jason or Ben?
Braves in 6.
I say, Braves in 7.
Yeah, I think I'm going to take Atlanta as well. I'll go Atlanta in 7 games. I think.
What do you guys? So obviously, baseball is not a sport that they ever do one game and then go back on the road. They always do the 2-3-2 compared to other sports where they do the 2-2-1-1-1. I'm seeing a lot of people out there who are basically it was a lot of Astros fans, and then at one point I think it was a lot of Dodgers fans. They're like, why are we playing 2 games at home and then going on the road for 3 games? Doesn't that give them the what's it called, the advantage? Yeah.
Me personally, I've never liked the 2-3-2 format. That's another reason why I've always liked NHL. For one, they've always done the 7-game series for every series, not like baseball where the division series is always 5 games, then it goes to 7 for the championship series and the World Series. But me, I've always preferred the 2-2-1-1-1. I think that has always been, the fairest way to do it. And I just like the constant going back and forth. I've always liked that a lot more than the 2-3-2.
Yeah, it's weird because if you do, if you do the 2-3-2, you could get away in the playoffs. You can get away with probably three starters.
Yeah,
because think about it, but there'll be even more extra days off, and I think that's better. You get the better matchups. You don't get the number 4 starter. You don't get the guy that's no one's really wants to be out there pitching. You get the best players. So
I'm sure there's
I hate
there's some reason before it,
well,
whether
it's
it's
just
travel
baseball.
or whatever it
It's just
is.
baseball is not the kind of sport where you play one game and then travel. It's always, even like during the regular season, sometimes there's 2 game series. Like there's never a 1 game series unless it's a makeup game. Like
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing. And then the ironic part about that is there's never a 1 game series except for one of the most important times, the wild card game. It's like, okay, so instead of doing the 2-2-1-1-1 because you don't want to have that one random like game and then travel, but in the wild card game you're gonna do the 1 game playoff. Like that's another reason why I think they should be doing the 3.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm not a big fan of the MLB playoff format in general. Just the 1 game wild card, 5 game, first round, and then the oddball seven game series. I'm not a big fan of it. I definitely think they should make it a little more home field advantage-esque. Make it best of 3 for the wild card. And then, best of 7 from then on. I don't see why you need to make it out of 5. It's a little weird, a little old school, if you ask me. But I unfortunately don't get paid the bazillion of dollars to come up with this stuff. So people are just rolling with it. But yeah, no, I definitely hope that the Atlanta Braves can take this from Houston, because I'm already irritated enough that they're even in the World Series. I know that they obviously had to earn it. No, but it just sucks to see them back there. I know that they're on a mission to kind of prove everyone wrong and blah, 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 blah. But still,
at the same time, there are tons of people out there that think the Astros are still cheating. So I don't know.
Oh, yeah. No, I actually just heard that last night. I was talking to Skippy and Rist about that. And apparently against the White Sox or something like that, allegedly, for legal purposes. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, silly. Again, who knows? Who knows? If they got vibrators in their pants, that's cool. Whatever floats their boat. Correa just gets happy off of anything these days, so we'll just roll with it. But yeah, no, I hope the Braves can pull it off. That'd be really cool. See something different win the World Series, and just go from there. So we'll see what happens.
All right, we have one other MLB, I guess, essentially breaking news to get to. It happened probably about an hour before we jumped on our Zoom conference call, whatever you want to refer to here. But yeah, the big story, the Oakland A's will be looking for a new manager for next year, as Bob Melvin has looks like he's agreed to terms to become the new manager of the San Diego Padres. Looks like it's a 3-year deal. Yeah, this is a fresh one for all of us because, like I said, this happened right before we jumped on. So I guess
completely out of left field. Did not see this.
Completely out of field. I mean, just a couple weeks ago on our Hit It or Quit It, we had the whole question that we all kind of had the thought that maybe Bruce Bochy was going to be the guy taking over. We all pretty much said we'd hit it, that we were on Bruce Bochy was the next manager, but turns out it made
sense.
Yeah, it made sense. But yeah, so Bob Melvin, he's the new skipper in town. The A's looking for somebody else now. Yeah, I guess I just want to curious all your guys' just initial thoughts as it's just fresh. It's super fresh for everyone. Jay, well, I'll go to Jason first on this one.
I want to say I'm shocked, but I'm not really shocked. I think the team, like Craig mentioned when we started this podcast, that the A's maybe had one more run in them. They tried it, didn't work out. Maybe Melvin was seeking an opportunity elsewhere. Maybe the offer was presented to him. Who knows? But he's got a ready-made team now in San Diego who's going to be in contention for years to come, I think. Mm-hmm. A's are in rebuilding mode again. It's a cycle that happens every 5 years, it seems. There's going to be a lot of trades happening now, I think. Their phones for the winter meetings are going to be on fire. I think Olsen and Chappie are probably gone if the offer's right. And they're going to bring in some manager to manage the team that's going to be full of young players and prospects. And that's going to be, I hate to say it, relatively cheap, I think. I don't know if I don't know names off the top of my head. I mean, maybe their bench coach, Ryan Christensen, but maybe Juan Washington comes back to go around.
Yeah, Ron Washington's getting tossed around.
Does he want to come back here and teach? Well, he's a great teacher, so that might be his MO.
Yeah.
But yeah, shocking, and I think this is a long offseason for the Oakland A's.
Yeah. I'm speechless because I knew that the A's were going to be cleaning house in this offseason. Obviously getting ready for their move to Vegas, but I didn't realize that one of the members being cleaned out like that was going to be Melvin. Like they just literally was like, "Oh, yeah, go ahead and interview for the Padres. We don't care about you." It's like they just like basically gave him up pretty much. Like they straight up was like, "Oh yeah, you want to go do that? Go ahead, whatever. Who cares if you're the longest or the most wins manager in A's history? Oh, you want to go, whatever. You're used toys. I don't care about you." Yeah, they're just it's unfortunate, and yeah, A's are going to be cleaning house, getting ready for their move to Vegas, and well, let's go from there, I guess.
Wow, just all sour on that note.
I don't think they're moving to Vegas quite yet, but I mean, it's.
Well, obviously they're not yet. They got to build a stadium and everything,
Oh.
but 2025 they'll be there. 2026. What do you think?
Takes a few years to build a stadium, so.
Yeah.
I think 2020. I think 2025 at the earliest.
I think that I think that it's extremely surprising. I was very shocked when I saw that text message that he had been signed with the Padres. But you know what? I understand why. I mean, it is a ready to go club. They got a lot of young guns. I mean, obviously with Tatis Jr.'s health always being up in the air, they still have a lot of weapons throughout that lineup. But I really didn't see him going, but I'm not surprised either because he never seemed to be able to get the A's
Get over the hump.
Get over that hump, get him to the next gear, just kind of, he seems like a very mellow, I don't think he ever yelled in his life kind of manager. I feel like he's very composed and very low key and just kind of soft spoken. So I think that him leaving isn't necessarily a bad thing. It opens up a window for an opportunity for you guys to find a new skipper that will be that firecracker up your butt, to get you guys to the next gear and see what could happen. So yeah, sure, it may suck that he's going, but you never know. It could be a blessing in disguise. And next season, I mean, if you depending on who you sign, given their history and their in the clubhouse morale boosts and all that shit, we'll see what it does for you guys in the long run. So I think that it may actually in the end be a blessing in disguise because clearly Melvin has proven in clutch and important situations that he doesn't really have what it takes to really push you guys to that next gear. And maybe it has to do with the players too. Maybe they are just not accepting of what he has to say. But we'll just wait and see who you guys get and what this next season brings you guys. So it'll be very interesting.
Yeah, so I kind of completely disagree with blaming Melvin. Blaming Melvin for them never getting over the hump. I more blame the ownership and the pretty much like the whole ownership, their way of doing it, because Melvin has proven that he can get a team with a bottom third payroll to do what they need to do. Him and Cash, like what they're doing with the amount of money that the ownerships are giving them is beyond amazing. When you got teams out there who are like the Mets, who are spending money and money and money and not making the playoffs years after year. You got all these teams that have boatloads of money and they're not doing jack shit with them. And then you got Melvin and Cash who are getting their teams to the playoffs and doing really well. And they're just, you would think about it, if you had just paid the money for Semien, just pay the money. He deserves the money. Pay him. Where would they have been this year? Look how what he did in Toronto. Like, you have these players. I understand the Chris Davis. They actually opened the checkbook one time for Chris Davis, and it bit him. You know what? The guy ran full speed into a wall, and he fucked up his hip. Like, he's not the same because of that. I will say that is the reason why Chris Davis fell. It's because he ran full speed into a wall and messed up his hip, and I think that ruined his whole career. And one bad signing cannot stop it. Like you guys, the A's ownership is in like the top 10 when it comes to how much money they actually have. Like
I
they
think
are
even
one of the
higher than that, actually.
Yeah, well, I wasn't 100% sure if it was top 5 or top 10. But yeah, they are rich. Like the amount of money they make,
No, yeah.
the A's, like obviously
But that's
they
the
have
way the
a
A's
lot of money.
are. Is they're notorious for that. They're
Yeah.
notorious for being cheap. That's just the way they are. And again, I was actually going to say it, and then you read my drunk mind that yeah, they opened up their checkbook one time for Chris Davis, and it bit him in the ass, and it kind of made him be like, okay, never mind. We're not going to pay anyone anything because it clearly doesn't work out. And I get that Melvin got in certain situations a team that maybe wasn't really well funded, but also maybe kind of overlooked to really kind of make people be like, oh my God, like look at these A's. But you need them, he's gotten them to be impressive, but needs them to go to another gear to be playoff material. That's what he needs. Or I mean, how about this wild card material? And he can't even do that. Like you can't get that. You guys get blown out in those wild card games.
I don't
blame Melvin for
I don't
anything.
think you can blame Melvin for those.
I can.
That comes down to the players that are playing and their inability to get the job done. Like, yeah, there's no doubt you could look at certain decisions that Melvin's made, but at the same time, and look at it's not like they were in these close games and these wild card games, and it was like, oh well, if Melvin would have did this instead in the 6th inning. No, they got blown out. They were no shows in those 2 wild card games against the Yankees and the Rays. I don't think that comes down to what Melvin did. I mean, maybe you want to bring up the idea that they decided to, pitch Manaea against the Rays in that game. But honestly, Manaea, if you look going back on it, Manaea was probably the right choice. He just didn't pitch well. He got hit early. The Rays took advantage of it, and the A's offense didn't do anything. So I think if the A's play in a couple, if those games are tight games and maybe, they make a pitching change late and then it gets away from them, then yeah, maybe you can look at Melvin. But ultimately, I do see John's point, though, the whole ownership and putting money, because that's the whole thing is, this formula that the A's have, it's enough to surprise everyone and win 90 games and win a division, but it's not going to change anything serious. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. But I think right at the end of the day, it really does come down to the players executing and getting the job done. They're there. They have the chance to do it, and they're just not. That's just the reality of it. So I don't put a lot of that. I don't put a lot of that on Melvin. If these games are close or tight games, I think that's up for discussion. But
if you think about it, 2012, they took him to the Tigers that had Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander to 5 games. Like literally, they got Verlander, and they always got Verlander. Like you can't do anything about it. Like that guy is just was. You could argue Justin Verlander was the most dominant pitcher of the 2010s. You could argue that. Obviously, there's other players out there you can argue about, but like how dominant Verlander was for this stretch, and like you can also argue when he gets back next year from Tommy John, he can probably still be the Justin Verlander. Like you never know how people react to Tommy John. And then, like, we haven't even brought up the wild card game against the Royals. I don't blame Melvin for that game either. I blame the front office for even getting them for that trade that they did with getting Lester, because that ruined the chemistry. And then they get in the wild card game, and Melvin feels the pressure from ownership to start Lester over Gray, because obviously you made that trade for Lester. What happens if Gray goes out there and loses, and then you're going to have all the people going, well, why'd you make that trade for Lester? So puts Lester out there, A's get a big lead early, and then Lester blows the lead. It's like, I can't blame Melvin for anything he's done. He's been awesome for the A's. And it's always, in my opinion, it's always going to be front office and ownership that has cost the A's to not have a title since 89.
Jason, how do you feel? You're a little quiet over there. I don't know if maybe Starbucks
Wi-Fi. I think he already mentioned his, but you guys went back and forth for about 20 minutes, so we kind of forgot about it.
I kind of took a power nap in between you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
It
guess,
happens.
yeah, I guess the only thing else I'd add is I think it's a sad day for the A's for sure. Melvin's been really relatively great in the years he's been with the A's. I mean, he has the most wins now of any manager in A's and I think Oakland A's history. So it sucks. I'm happy for him though. As we kind of mentioned, the Padres have a very talented squad over there, and if there's anything we've learned of the GM of the Padres is they're aggressive. So I wouldn't be surprised for them to make some more moves before opening day this year. And another thing to think about too is with this offseason, can the Padres get Dinelson Lamet healthy? Another thing that we've also forgot about too, they also have a guy by the name of Mike Clevenger who missed the entire season as well. He's coming back next year, so that's another guy to add to their rotation. So yeah, Melvin's going to a stacked Padres team, a team that's hungry to win, and I think they got a good skipper there. And that's one thing that we talked about before is that I think one thing that kind of held back that team is they went and got a guy like Tingler who was very inexperienced. It was a questionable hire from the beginning, and now they have a guy with tons of experience. And yeah, it'll be a test though to see exactly if Melvin, can for sure lead a team into the playoffs and win some games there, because let's not forget they're in a division with the Dodgers and the Giants, two teams that are going to be solid again next year. So it ain't going to be like an easy go for San Diego next year. And that's why I mentioned also they have an aggressive GM who is in the win now mode, who might make some moves. So we'll see how it goes. But ultimately, yeah, I think it's a sad day for the A's. As Jason pointed out, I think it's the start of a long winter. We've talked about that that was their kind of last go. And I thought the way that the A's lost at the end of the season to just miss the playoffs completely after making some of the best moves, if not the best moves they ever made at trade deadline. That was going to be the wick of the start of the wick of that bomb going off of the start of the rebuild. So it's sad, but I think we should try to hold in our tears until we start seeing some of the players that are on the field start going. But ultimately, yeah, it sucks. But good for Bob Melvin for him to go. And I guess, yeah, thanks for all the years that you were skipper behind the A's. So good luck to him. But yeah, it sucks. It really does suck.
Yep, agree.
So, all right. Well, we're going to switch topics now as we have to turn our attention over to the National Hockey League, as the season is well underway now. So we're about 2 weeks into the season, and our NHL insider, Mr. Benny Soup, will take it away and just kind of give us an idea of what is going on. There's some crazy off the ice stuff going on as well. So Ben, take it away.
Yeah, no, plenty to talk about. It's been a crazy couple weeks. Sharks have been looking pretty good. Knights have been looking a little shaky, and Ducks have been looking as expected, as shitty as ever. So it's been pretty great.
As shitty as ever.
It's pretty consistent all the way around. Sharks sit at third in the Pacific. Knights sitting at 5 in the Pacific, and the Ducks barely even make the feed. They're in 7th in the division, so that's cool. But all in all, it's been a little rough for the Ducks getting going. They had a couple good starts at the beginning. They've lost about 4 straight now. They're currently losing 1-0 right now to Buffalo, who have also been very impressive. Buffalo Sabres have really turned their season around, even with the lack of Jack Eichel. But apparently, maybe he wasn't the best thing for the locker room, so it may show. There was a signing that had happened there was a trade that had happened during the week off. It was Dylan Gambrell going to the Ottawa Senators for a 2022 7th round draft pick. Dylan Gambrell just kind of never really developed into a high caliber player that was projected. And Ottawa being the prospect failure absorber of the Sharks, they decided to take him, so they accepted him. I mean, they're out of rebuild mode, so I guess I guess he's maybe a key piece that they need to keep growing. So we'll see. Out of Tampa Bay, Nikita Kucherov actually is injured. He's going to actually need surgery for a lower body injury. From an injury, I believe that was from last season. He will be missing 8 to 10 weeks following that surgery. So he will be on long-term IR. Shocking. What happened last year was he was on long-term IR and they were able to beat the cap system a certain way and signed a couple big names and they got a cup. So look for Jack Eichel maybe to be in that mix for them. So he'll eventually be back before playoff time, but look for them to make a big signing beforehand. And then another big name that is actually out of the lineup due to injury is Kings defenseman Drew Doughty. He is out because of a torn ACL and MCL. So he will be out for the remainder of the season. He is screwed. So that is a huge hit on the Kings. They will definitely be struggling moving forward. So we'll see how their season ends up developing, losing a key defenseman like that. But the Vegas Golden Knights, on a positive note, they did sign Zach Whitecloud to a 6-year, $2.75 million deal per year.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Yeah, who the fuck is that guy?
Decent defenseman. Someone that's going to be pretty consistent for them. He's a solid young kid. So it's a good signing for them. He does what he needs to do. But moving on to the Ducks season. So they have dropped 4 straight and probably going to lose 5 tonight. So that's cool. And well, actually, you know what? I'll be a mind reader here. We're going to say 6 in a row because they're playing Vegas tomorrow. They've only won 2 games against them in their entire time. So that's great. And then they follow up against Montreal at home. So should be a really rough time here.
That's what she said.
I'm not really holding my breath for that. At the end of the day, it's just like the Lions. I'm just glad that they're having a good time and just, doing what they can and they're in the show. So we'll see. Moving on to another team. The San Jose Sharks are currently playing right now. It is 0-0 to the Montreal Canadiens with the Montreal Canadiens at home in San Jose. But you guys had a lengthy road trip of 5 games and you guys went 3-2. You lost the last 2.
They did, huh?
You guys played good, you competed, but unfortunately, Nashville, you guys just looked flat, just no consistency throughout the lineup, no sense of urgency. So Nashville kind of played a confident game. Saros is really shown that he's a good number 1 goaltender for them. And so I'm curious to see how you guys will do tonight. I'm hoping you guys will win.
No, you don't.
Well, I actually have some money put down on certain players, so we'll see. And then moving on, and then we got the Knights though. So they've been pretty inconsistent. I think them getting rid of Grubauer, or I'm sorry, not Grubauer. Them getting rid of Fleury has been one of the worst mistakes in franchise history. Lanner is not the answer. He's very inconsistent for them. They're on a 2-game winning streak. They're playing the Ducks tomorrow, so they should be back on track. But still, they're just not playing Vegas hockey. So look for them to really have a difficult season. I'm thinking they'll make a wild card spot. I don't think they'll actually be in the playoffs as one of the top 3 seeded teams. I think they'll just be in the wild card and fight their way through. And then you got who was this? Oh, Tampa Bay. Sorry, I was like, who the hell did I other screenshot?
You're saying Tampa Bay or the Tampa Bay?
The Tampa Bay. So they've been looking pretty solid as of late. They handled Arizona today 5-1. Makes it 2 in a row of 5-1 actually. They did lose to Buffalo, but seeing as Buffalo is pretty consistent this year and actually a real hockey team, it's not surprising. But Corey Perry still no points through these games.
Run that guy.
He's definitely gotten his chances, gotten his looks, but unfortunately has not buried one yet and not gotten an assist. But gotten some fights, gotten some penalty minutes. So, he's on the score sheet in some fashion. So they got a couple days off. They got a few days off. They don't play until November. So
Not until November.
not until November. But no, I'm pretty excited to see this season pan out because it seems like a lot of teams that, the Red Wings, the Blue Jackets, the Sabres, a lot of these, bottom feeder teams are finally making a push. And it's making the teams that normally are playoff teams struggle. They're fighting. They have to actually battle. So it's going to be a great season. It's going to be fun to watch. It's entertaining hockey. Something that actually did come up, though, on a sour note, the Columbus Blue Jackets, they played against Dallas. Oh. And after the victory, Dallas fan yelled out, don't light any fireworks in your celebration, as in a hit towards their goaltender passing, who died from the 4th of July incident. The Columbus Blue Jackets are investigating to figure out who that fan is. It's just not okay. Like, that's just fucked up on so many levels. And, the goaltender, Ms. Lingnix, who was the starter that night, he was like best friends with that goaltender. And to hear that was pretty upsetting. So pretty fucked up. So I'm hoping that they do find that person and he gets like a lifelong ban, because that's just not necessary. At the end of the day, it's just a game. They're professionals, but I'm sure that lazy piece of shit who decided to say that, I bet doesn't even play hockey, doesn't even know what it takes to be a hockey player, and thinks he's just trying to be funny. And it's like, dude, you don't deserve to be a fan. Get the hell out of here. So I'm hoping they can catch that guy and figure it out. But time will tell. And then if there is an update, I will definitely make sure it's known. But yeah, no, I'm very excited. But how do you guys feel so far about the Sharks? Let me push it over to you guys.
I'll go first.
No,
I love how there's like always this big pause, and then we're all like,
who wants to share the
and then finally, we all go in at once. Or fails.
Yeah, no, they're exciting to watch. I mean, even in their 2 losses, I thought they played hard. There was games where they were down, I think 4-1 to Boston. They still came back and 4-3.
4-3. Yeah, it was a battle.
Still competed, and they're definitely competing. I think Cogliano addition has been nice. Goaltending's been decent, I would say. Better than years past, and the rookies are really contributing too. So on the up and up. Looking forward to catching a game here live pretty soon, I think too. So
yeah, it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
No complaints with the Sharks right now. You kind of wanted them to win in Nashville, but they just came out flat. Last game of a 5-game road trip. I fully expected them to lose the Bruins game, and they gave it a shot at the end. They got those last 2 goals and made it within 1, but they just couldn't get the last one to tie it. But then the Nashville game, they came out flat. They did not look like especially really early on. Like I think the first 2 power plays they had, don't even think they had a single shot on the power play. And something that I noticed from last season that they still do so much is they shoot it from the point and they shoot it right into the guy. It's like, yeah, can you guys work on your shots? Like, you guys are making it so easy for the team to block them. But I mean, I cannot complain about Hill, and I can't complain about Reimer right now. They're looking way better than what the Sharks have had the last couple of seasons. So I hope they keep it up. Optimistic about their chances to keep it up. And obviously, the young players, they're doing really well. And hopefully the Sharks just keep this optimism going. They don't have the head case in the locker room right now, and I hope he stays away all season. And who knows? Maybe the playoffs are a goal this year and not just bottom sellers like we were expected.
Yeah, I think optimism, that's a great word that you used, John, and I would agree based on what we've seen so far through the 6 games that they've played. For sure. I think, after they won the first 3 games of that road trip, I think the Boston game was sort of expected. That was probably the first game they're going to drop. I like that they were able to at least battle back and make it a 1-goal game. I know I really liked what Hurdle said after the game too, that he felt like it was a whole team thing. He said, last season when they get in a game like that, they would tend to be like, okay, they'd all do their own sort of their own thing to try to like, I got to be the guy that brings them back. And they said that they kind of felt unified. And I think that's a good thing to see really early on. And then I think the Nashville game, I thought that would have been a good game for them to really just bounce back and find a way to end the road trip on a good note. Unfortunately, they didn't. I saw the first half of that game. I do agree. I think they came out relatively flat in the beginning. The goal that Reimer gave up early on the power play to Duchesne, it was a soft goal for sure. And I thought their legs started to get underneath them a little bit, probably about the halfway through the first, and then maybe a chunk of the second period. But then again, their power play wasn't effective, and I think that's one thing that hasn't been as good the last couple of games is the special teams, and the power play hasn't been effective, and the PK has been okay, but it obviously you're not gonna. I think we did the podcast last week; they were at 1,000 basically on the PK, so obviously you're not gonna be able to maintain that. So anyway, we mentioned, the special teams needs to be good if this team is going to find a way to make the playoffs. And unfortunately, during that whole way out, Montreal did score, so it is 1-0 Canadians after a goal by Mike Hoffman.
Fucking Hoffman, dude! What the fuck? Like,
so I guess the only thing else I would add is. So anyways, they have the whole optimism thing. I would just like to see that now they're, they ended up still going 3-2 on the road trip. Now they have a 5-game homestand, and it'd be nice to see them, at least have a good winning homestand. I think that's something that did fall off last year. I know there was no fans with the whole COVID thing, but they were not a good team at home last year. So that's something that needs to be good. And one thing I have started noticing too, that's something I wanted to add about the power play, is I'm starting to notice a lot more is it seems like they really are trying to get LeBanc to shoot the puck more. They're doing a lot of the, I guess I would like to call it the Ovechkin-esque sort of play, where they find, over on the side, and he goes for the 1T. So I'm noticing a lot of that. At least they're trying to set up the play more. I do like that they have finally given up on the whole Burns Carlson experiment as well. I think they flat out said that is done. There's no more toying around with that. They know it's just not going to work, and they are keeping them separated, which I think is a good thing. And the young guys, I think some of those guys got off to really, really good starts at those first few games. I think it would be unrealistic to think that they were going to maintain that exact same level of play. I know one guy that's been talked about a lot is William Eklund, and I know he ended up sitting out a game just because he's been on the go so much, and they kind of felt
he's
like
a young kid.
Yeah, he's only 19 years old. So, and they kind of, even Bob Budner even said like they kind of felt like he wasn't able to contribute a lot because he's kind of gassed. So it was good for him to sit out, and now he's getting back in there. And I think even the Nashville game, they sure have said that you could tell that he was more effective. Just having that day one game up in the press box to watch was effective. So it's interesting to see how it goes. But I think, John, the way you said optimism is a big word you could use for just what we've seen so far. There's a ton of season left, and the reality is, we said that for us, playoffs are possible, but the way it's been said through Doug Wilson and is they are a team that said that they should be in the playoffs, and it's true based on the contracts they have. So I know our view to their view is going to be different just based on what we see and what they're on their payroll and everything like that. But I just stress that optimism is the key word so far.
Yeah, it's the first half of the season is going to be huge. If they could stay, they could stay a little bit over 500. Just continue winning games they need to win. Like obviously they're playing the Canadians tonight. Like the way the Canadians started in the season, like this should be a game that they'd be able to win. But obviously, so far right now they're down 1-0.
It's the NHL. Any given night.
Yeah, any given night. Senators could beat the Lightning. Who knows? Like that's just how it is. But for them to go like, oh, playoffs we expect ourselves to be playoffs. Like I like how you're saying that, but at the same time, a lot of people were expecting them to start rebuilding. So
Yeah.
I hope that if they do start falling off, like that they accept the rebuild as much as it would suck. Like I hope they don't stake try to like what's the correct word? I'm totally blank right now. But keep it going for a couple more years, more than they need to. Like you need to start if they do fall off, they need to start the rebuild like as soon as possible. But obviously this good start. It's bringing optimism, and maybe the top six. You know, they still have Couture, they still have Hurdle, they still have Timo, they got Burns, they got Carlson. Like they have a lot of really good players, and it's just going to come down to whether or not they're able to contribute. Because the last 2 seasons, they've either all been hurt, like Couture and Hurdle, or they've had bad seasons like Carlson and last year Meyer. Like they need for them to make the playoffs, they need to be hitting stride everywhere. It can't just be, oh, Couture having a good game, but everyone else is playing bad. Like, they don't have, especially with all the young players. Like, I like how they went and got the veterans, Bonino and Cogliano. I like that a little bit more veterans who haven't been with the Sharks. Like these are veterans who've been in other teams. You know, Nick Bonino, he's won a ring. You know, they got other like, you know, thoughts and beliefs that like maybe they can help some of the younger people instead of just the clique that we've had for the last couple of seasons. You know, the same stars. Now they have a couple of other veterans who can bring in more beliefs and more thoughts and go
systems and thought process.
Yeah, you know.
Yeah,
but that's big.
Another interesting stat that just popped up on the game as well is that I was curious about this. I kind of forgot because I was with COVID. They didn't play the Canadians at all, but the Canadian. This is the longest streak of I guess I'm trying to word this correctly, of basically longest streak of road losses the Canadians have had against a single team. It's 12 straight losses the Canadians have lost in San Jose. It's been happening since March 2001. So the Canadians have not won in San Jose for
that's kind of funny.
20 years.
That's like crazy. The Sharks. That's like the Sharks at Buffalo.
All right. Yeah.
Everyone just has that one team where it's like, what the hell? Why can't we ever beat you? Right? Yeah.
So interesting how that's playing out there, but
yeah, no, all that's all I got in hockey. So we can.
Ovechkin's still an amazing player. Nothing new.
No shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And McDavid is still 100 times better than Draisaitl.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Overrated piece of crap.
Oh, that's Daddy nasty.
Chill. Didn't need to be nasty, but
so
Daddy chill part.
Daddy chill.
That part needed to be on there.
That German god is a beast. All right.
Oh, yeah. So overrated.
He's not overrated. Like he legitimately does shit with the puck. Like he actually does stuff with the puck. He's a pretty good player, and he's a good like. I see him kind of as a power forward. He uses his body, and he's not a little bitch. So let's go.
Yeah, he's a Corey Perry. He's a bitch. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
They are what we thought they were.
Coming from the Dak Prescott. Okay. All right. Easy there.
Oh my God. All right. Well, speaking of Dak Prescott, we're gonna talk about a sport next. So let's keep shifting things over to the NFL as we are 7 weeks in.
Not Fun League? What's the NFL?
The No Fun League. Yes, you got it right.
Gotcha. All right.
Correct. Although unfortunately you didn't answer in the form of a question.
Shit! No points.
No points.
Eventually we're going to figure this out.
Have mercy on your soul. All right. So week 7, it is done. It's over with. And we can talk about a few here. John, I know your Cowboys had the bye week, so they did not play. I guess I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Does anyone want to go first? I know, Ben, your two teams squared off against each other. Jason, you were on Sunday.
I'll let Jason go because he hasn't really talked, and I want him to get the good bandwidth while he has it.
I like it. Good work. Jason, Sunday Night Football didn't go too well for the Niners. It was also a stormy night for the Niners. Didn't go well. You dropped 4 in a row. Jason, what's going on in your head right now?
Shit. They are a train wreck, top to bottom. Yeah, wrong train, kind of whatever.
It's still train related.
Still train related, I guess. A game I said last week that they should have won. You can blame the weather all you want, but guess what? Indianapolis plays in a dome. They caught the ball, they threw the ball, they made the plays. The Niners didn't. Niners. I don't know if Shanahan gets in his own head or what, but he comes out first 15 plays or so. They run the ball and they ran it down the Colts' throats, score a touchdown. Elijah Mitchell's running out of control, and then they stop doing it for whatever reason. And even the Darius Leonard goes, "I'm kind of glad they stopped doing that because we couldn't stop it." It's like, hello. I mean, it's not. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Like,
Yeah.
keep doing it.
That's
And
what she said.
until they show that they can stop it, just keep doing it. Javon Kinlaw's out now, probably with maybe needing season-ending knee surgery. Maybe get Kittle back next week. It's just been one thing after another with this team, and Trey Lance is reportedly going to be able to back up this weekend. They're starting Jimmy G again. I still don't understand it.
Run that guy.
Based on the videos that you see on Twitter with him practicing, he looks fine. So if maybe he's not quite 100%, maybe he's like 85, 90%, but I mean, it's a Jimmy G homecoming in Chicago this week. Bears team that's not very good. Again, I think they should win, which means they probably won't win. The crazy thing is that they're only one game out of a playoff spot. So if they can go on a roll and win 2 or 3, 4 in a row, they're right back in the mix, but it is what it is. And Brandon Ayuk is still missing in action. I don't know what to make of that anymore. So on to you guys.
All right, Benny, we're going to go to you on this one. The Rams and the Lions went up against each other this weekend down over in LA. It was Jared Goff versus Matt Stafford. Just revenge game versus revenge game on this one. The good news, if you're pulling for the Lions, may pull it off. They covered the spread.
Well, that's a good thing because I know that they probably don't ever cover this whole season. But anyways,
actually they have covered.
Okay, well, shit happens. But anyways, it was a good game. Right off the bat, I liked the trickery by the head coach to do a little bit of an onside kick, get immediate possession. I liked the fake punt that led to a first down. I mean, it was good trickery by a desperate team right now just to mix it up. I liked it. I respected what they were going for. But fuck, Goff is just shit right now, dude.
You are one pathetic loser.
For someone who has his Cal jersey, thank God I didn't pay money for that shit. What the fuck, dude? Can you do something right? And not be a little girl about throwing it? Come on, dude. He got a touchdown early on. Felt like a champ, I guess, and felt like a Hall of Famer, so he didn't bother to do anything else for the rest of the game. But you know what? They had the lead for most of the game, and then unfortunately LA being LA with all their weapons came back and took it. LA did win 28-19. Jared Goff, this is how bad it was. 22 of 36. Not too bad. All right, that's respectable.
I don't think so, Tim.
268 yards. That's actually pretty high for that guy. 1 TD though. That's it.
Wow.
But 2 interceptions. Come on. And you want to hear something worse? Jack Fox. 1 for 1. You know who that guy is? Their punter. 1 for 1. Yeah. Maybe we should sign him for $100 million or whatever that Goff has. Jesus. So that sucks.
I didn't see that one coming.
So that was cool. And you know what? He wasn't afraid to throw it either. He got 17 yards off of that throw. So that's more than Goff gets on one of his throws most nights. So that's cool. But Drew Stafford, he played pretty good or Matthew Stafford as always.
Drew Stafford.
I know Drew Stafford.
Love
I don't
it.
know where the hell I got that from, but he went 28 for 41. Not really that solid, but he got 334 yards, so he did get a lot of yardage out of it. And then he threw 3 TDs and 0 interceptions. So the interception column, very critical, made it count. But again, there were too many field goals by the Lions. Could not seem to punch it into the end zone beyond that first go. So it really sucked that it was just kind of seemed like a waste, you know. But it is the Lions. What do you expect? So unfortunately, that now makes them 0-7. Didn't see that coming. They play the Eagles next, and then they get a very big bye week, which is critical on week 9. I'm hoping that they will be able to recoup, reset. I did have a question. Is the current Lions coach, was that the Falcons coach from years back?
No.
Okay, just different bald guy. Okay,
That's actually that's Dan Quinn, who's the Cowboys defensive coordinator currently.
okay, I was close. But then the Rams, though,
Not even
they
close.
got an easy one against the Texans. I'm thinking that's lock of the week. They got 3 more games to go before they have their bye week in week 11, which I think is actually a good time for them. Week 11, give them some rest, give some guys to recover, and then make that final push for the playoffs. And I think the Rams will make a deep run this year. And I would be more than happy to see them win the Super Bowl. But if that doesn't happen, not the end of the world. But yeah, no, it's all in all, it was looking really good at the beginning. It was really showing a lot of promise that the Lions were going to kind of give the Rams a run for their money. And then the Lions played like the Lions. So then they just played like complete ass. So it was cool. So if you're a Rams fan, great. If you're a Lions fan, another long week. So I'm hoping that this next week will be a good turnaround, but I'm not going to hold my breath because I've held my breath for 7 weeks now and I'm practically purple. So yeah, we're going to move on to the next one. All right. So yeah, that's it. That's all I got on that shittiness.
All right, Cohooney, we're going to turn things over to you. The Cowboys will be fresh off their bye week as they will head to Minneapolis on Sunday Night Football against Kirk Cousins and the Vikings. So how you feeling, John?
Yeah, everyone gets one bye week a season, and sometimes you just don't get your bye weeks. Like, you get a bye week, you're like, why do we get a bye week at this possible time? Like, we have so much momentum going, or, oh, we don't really need this bye week. Well, the Cowboys bye week came at the perfect possible time this season because Dak Prescott in the walk-off win against New England actually strained his calf during going to celebrate. And if they didn't have the bye week, he probably would have missed last week. So he's expected to play. He's been limited all week in practice. They got one more practice tomorrow before the Sunday night game Sunday. We'll see if he's a full participant or if he's limited again, but they're pretty much expecting him to play. He will be playing, so we'll see. I think Vegas is expecting the game to be a shootout, and I think it's the highest over/under of the slate. And the Cowboys opened up as a 2.5-point favorite. So far, that's been betted down to 1.5, and we'll see if more money continues coming in. And maybe at one point, the Cowboys will actually be underdogs. I think a lot of people are expecting that this calf injury is more than expected. And the funny part is, coming into the season, everyone's like, how's Dak going to react to his shoulder? How's Dak going to react to his broken ankle that he's coming back from? And he's looked amazing the whole season. And now everyone's asking, how's Dak going to come off this calf strain? We'll see. Is he going to come out amazing, or is this actually going to limit him? And that calf strain is going to be the difference between whether they win or lose.
All right.
They're going to lose.
Okay. Luck your week.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and start with the exact same game as I'm gonna look at the Minnesota standpoint, as the Minnesota Vikings are coming off a bye week as well. They'll be coming in at 3-3, and this is the start of a tough sled for them these next few weeks. And I'm gonna pull this up really quickly to make sure that I do get this right, just exactly of what they're going up against this week. So yeah, they start here with the Cowboys Sunday Night Football, and then they will go up against the Ravens the following week, then the Chargers, and then the Packers. So their next 4 games are not going to be
shit.
It's going to be tough for them. So yeah, it's interesting to see exactly how. I think it's an important game if Minnesota is going to make a push. I mean, I think going into this week, they're actually in that 7th spot right now as the final essential wild card, make the playoffs. And I guess looking into this game, I think it could very well come down to defensively. The Cowboys, one thing they've been doing every single week is they're putting up a lot of points. I don't know the exact total. I was looking at it just briefly while John was talking, and it's probably somewhere around 30 to 35 points a game. I think
it's definitely over 30.
Yeah. The only game they scored under 30 was the game at the Chargers. I think everything other than that's been pretty much 30 in the 40s. So they're scoring a ton of games. So I think that's one thing that Minnesota maybe has shown some life, but it hasn't been good enough, I think, to really become much of a force. So if the Vikings can maybe hold the Cowboys offense down, that just might be enough to maybe they pull off an upset. I don't like their spot. I'll come out and say it. I was relatively shocked that the spread was as low as it was. I was expecting Minnesota. I was expecting Cowboys to be favored by at least like 3.5, 4.5. To see it as low as it is. So I know a lot of money's coming on Minnesota. I guess they could prove me wrong. We'll see how it goes, but I think it's going to be an exciting game, and exactly how John said, I think they're expecting it to be a shootout. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, if Minnesota can pull off the upset here and get themselves above 500, we'll see how it goes. I mean, like I said, they have very tough matchups following after with Baltimore, the Chargers, and Packers. So we'll see. But if they want to get off to a start right now, they could at least make somewhat of a statement if they can pull off victory. Cowboys here on Sunday Night Football on Halloween night too. So we'll shift it over. Man, I guess I'll talk about the Raiders on this one. I don't know. I probably shouldn't even cover the Raiders anymore because they are the one team that I just cannot seem to figure out. And I will say that because I am 0-7 picking the Raiders this year when it comes to the spread. Every time I think they're gonna do well, they shit the bed. Every time I think that they're gonna roll over and die, they look like a solid team. And this week was.
So what do you expect this week then? So I can bet the other way.
I don't think they're gonna win or lose, John, because they have a bye week. So don't have to worry about anything there.
I was trying to see if you're gonna fall into it or not.
Yeah. Raiders are one of the only 2 teams to have a bye week this week. Anybody want to take a quick guess? The other team has bye week. John, you should know because I said it on the Cohooney Guess the Spread episode. But it's the Ravens. So it's the Ravens and Raiders that both have the bye week this week. But man, I was very I will say this. I was, as much as I don't think the Eagles are good, I don't really think the Eagles have anything working for them. The Eagles were one of probably my favorite teams to be the underdog team to win outright last week. And I guess I just kind of thought that the Raiders were going to look like the Raiders of old. And I think, I think the way that they were able to bounce back with the victory in Denver with a new head coach, I thought that was, the Broncos aren't very good. So, let's not lead into this too much. And then again, Eagles aren't very good either. But it's promising to see the Raiders at 5-2. Maybe that they're finally going to put up a solid season and possibly the playoffs. But at the same time, who have they beat? That's a big question too. So I know they did beat the Ravens in week 1. So that is a valid point. I'll give you that one. But other than that, I mean, they beat Pittsburgh, which I don't think Pittsburgh's that good. And who did they beat in week 3? Any reminder? I'm trying to think who they beat in week 3.
Nope. I can't remember who they played week 3. I don't think it was someone good. Let me look it up.
Yeah.
Do you know who the biggest contributor ever since Gruden did get fired? Who's contributed the biggest
Brett
for
Favre.
the team?
Brett Favre. What? What kind of shot out of nowhere is that from?
Here's his ass.
Anyways, my point is that Derek Carr has continued to look solid, and they've been getting the job done. So we'll see.
Dolphins in overtime.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, they beat the Dolphins, and that wasn't a pretty game for them. But but one thing that's been big too is defensively, they've had quite the duo between Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby. Those two have looked very good. They've been putting the pressure on the quarterback of the opposing team, so that's been a very good sign to see Crosby, because I think he had a good rookie season a few years ago. Last year, he was a little kind of unnoticeable.
Sophomore slump.
Yeah, sophomore slump, and also he had a lot of off the field issues as well that he was very upfront about. And I think his head's more clear now, and I think we're seeing the results on the field. So we'll see how it goes. I know the Raiders have the Chiefs coming up on the schedule, and that'll be a big game for them to maybe see exactly if they are a team that's ahead of the Chiefs with the way the Chiefs have looked, which has not been very good. So
hey, I do owe. You know what? I'm going to interrupt you really quick. I owe John an apology, and this is why. A couple podcasts ago, I said Henry Ruggs is like 50 feet below crap. He's not below 50 feet below crap. He's just not on Tyreek Hill's level. But Henry Ruggs has been playing pretty well, so I'm going to give him. You know, when I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong, and I was wrong. So
you know why?
We need a new.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
We need a new segment, the "When I Was Wrong" segment.
That's
Speaking of what I was
I
wrong,
have to do that. Although
Craig,
that might need its own episode.
you want to help? Speaking of when I was wrong,
Well, I mean, this is a lot of options. So
oh my god, I'm gonna kill you. We literally talked about it on the way home, and you were like, "I'm gonna funeralize your ass."
oh yeah, damn it. What was this one? No, this was a while ago.
No, literally today.
No. I meant like, but we talked about it, and we said that when you said it, it was a while ago.
Oh, I know.
What was it? Remind me again, or just bring it up.
Guys, who did I have going 17-0 this year?
Oh, that's right. He said it was a possibility the Chiefs would go 17-0, and how they were definitely not going to lose a game at home. Yeah.
What a fucking loser, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jesus.
That's what she
By the way,
that was the wrong drop.
Yeah. By the way,
Oh, wait a minute. What
player-
fucking loser? You know what? That does work. It does work. Okay.
the player that has been a huge contributor in the last 2 weeks, ever since Gruden ever since he resigned, Kenyon Drake. He was a no-show for the first 5 weeks of the season, and the last 2 weeks he's out rushed and out carried Jacobs in both games. So Kenyon Drake, he's getting the carries that people expected him to get beginning of the season. So
didn't help that Jacobs got hurt.
Keeps that
Jacobs
going.
did get hurt early in the game too. So
yeah,
last game. But all right, one other team I'll cover would be the Buffalo Bills. Obviously, the last time we talked about them was the unfortunate loss. They lost in Tennessee over on Monday Night Football. They had a bye week to hopefully get things healthy. One thing that's not going to be healthy though is Dawson Knox, the tight end, who had who's been a solid tight end for the Bills and had a breakout game in Kansas City during that big Sunday night game victory that they had. Looks like he's still going to get a couple more weeks, but the Bills have a relatively soft schedule these next few weeks, and that starts with the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah,
who obviously that's a whole big mess they got going on with Miami. The whole Deshaun Watson, if he's going to be there. Tua. One thing that I also saw too is Tua did get asked by basically asked by reporters if he felt like he was unwanted by the Dolphins, and he basically said, "Well, I don't not feel wanted." Or don't feel not unwanted or whatever it was, but basically saying, exactly what you'd expect, saying that this is his job. He's here to be the quarterback. He's the quarterback of this team. He's going to keep doing it as long as he, as long as he's there. So
Tua's in the Jimmy G's kind of situation without actually being in the Jimmy G situation. It's kind of funky because it's like you're the starting quarterback right now, but you have this guy like right behind your back that everyone's talking about, and it's like, how are you supposed to react? The worst part is, Tua's not, this guy who's been in the league for multiple years. Tu's only been in the league for 3 years. So
Yep. And a guy who's very unproven and already has a lot of doubt behind his ability to be a quarterback in this league. So, I think it's going to be a game that I think the Bills will be looking to definitely get back on the right track. And I don't think they need to have a perfect game to do it. It's a game where they just need to get things right. I think they're going to look to obviously tighten things up defensively. I know Derrick Henry ran all over them over in Tennessee. So we'd obviously looking to see that defense,
there's no way Miles Gaskin runs all over them.
Yeah, it'll be definitely a sign to see. Yeah, and that's a good thing too. If they're making Tua throw the ball a lot, which I don't think that's going to go very well for them. So, I think this is a good bounce back game for Buffalo to get back on track. So, I don't think this is going to be too much of a tough one for them. Not to say that any game in the NFL is not a tough game, but yeah, I don't think this is they're gonna have to do a whole lot to pull off victory here. So I'm interested to see how they bounce back. But obviously the bigger thing will be obviously getting Dawson Knox healthy, and if anything, hopefully they can at least get Stephon Diggs back in the game a little bit too and get him more involved, especially against these weaker teams, because he's been relatively quiet this year. So I think if the Bills are going to become a huge force in the playoffs when the games really, really count, Stephon Diggs is going to have to be a key part of this offense for them to be able to advance and beat teams that are obviously going to be there. When they're not facing teams like the Dolphins and the Jets and everything like that. So we'll see how it goes, but excited to see them back.
Yep.
But anyways, exciting games this weekend. Is there anything other than games that we've kind of covered through the teams we've discussed? Any big games that any of us are looking forward to?
I never get to go first. I'm going to go first.
Yeah,
all right, go for it.
He's
I'm
going
gonna
to
go
name
with
all
the
8 teams.
I'm going to go. Oh, I only ever keep it to one, unlike you, who goes and names basically pretty much the whole schedule.
Well, I mean, that way, like, one of them is going to be a good game.
I'm going to go with a divisional game, and it's pretty much lose and you're done game for the Colts. I'm going to go with the Titans versus the Colts game. Surprisingly, the Colts are actually favored at home. I fully expected the Titans to be favored. And, if the Titans win this game, they win the season series against the Colts, and you can argue that it's over. The division's over. The Titans win that division. If the Colts want any shot to win that division, it's a must-win for them. So, see what happens. They're coming off the win against the Niners in the monsoon at Levi, while the Titans are coming off the emotional win against the Bills. See what happens. I think the Titans will win it, and I think they're going to run away with that division. But evidently, Vegas disagrees. So we'll see.
I'm gonna go with I know that I did cover them, but I'm genuinely excited to see the Lions play against the Eagles. I think there's a good opportunity and a good window for them to finally get a win. So I'm really excited to see that. And on a side note, actually, of something I forgot to discuss was something about Tom Brady. I don't know if you guys all saw his 600th pass, hit the wide receiver like a genius, gave the ball to a fan. Well, the fan, gave it back to one of the staff who asked. That's his 600th pass. So he was given.
There goes my hitter credit question.
All right. Well, he was given another football and $1,000 gift card to the team store for the Buccaneers. Now, that ball that he threw was roughly around $500,000 plus is what its auction projection is.
No, yeah, the auctioneers are projecting it as $500,000 ball. Yeah.
It's insane. So people were kind of putting the Buccaneers on blast, saying that that's a ripoff, blah, 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 So Tom Brady, as nice of a guy as he is, he gave him some autographed jerseys, whatever. Being a nice guy. Season tickets to the Buccaneers. That's pretty solid, but people still weren't satisfied And so Tom Brady during Monday Night Football came out and said, well, I gave the guy a Bitcoin, so I think we're good now. Bitcoin's wagered around $62,000 plus per share. So I would say that's pretty fucking solid for just receiving a football and giving it back out of courtesy. I would say that guy made out pretty damn well.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's insane. Like,
so you know what the fan, you know what he wants?
What?
More than anything. He literally asked for one thing.
Tom Brady's
He wants
sperm?
to do. No, this isn't Ted 2. He wanted to go on a round of golf with Tom Brady.
Yes, that's what I heard. Yeah,
that's all he's asking for. He doesn't
well,
care. He didn't ask for anything else. He literally is asking for to go on a round of golf with Tom Brady.
18 holes with Tom Brady.
Yeah,
which I think would be better than
Brady.
Bitcoin.
I hope Brady does it and actually does that with him.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty cool. I'm curious to see what happens because it seems like Tom Brady is very generous in this situation for everything he's doing for the guy. But I also think that it was very generous of the guy to just kind of give it back to him, just even initially for what it was. The Buccaneers were really just giving him extra because everyone was going and busting the Buccaneers balls because they know that the Buccaneers really got off easy with $1,000 gift card to their damn store. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Come on. Like, yeah. So no, I think it's pretty cool that the way it's all working out and evolving. I'm curious to see where the end game will be, but yeah, no, I just thought that was really interesting to that end piece to it. I thought that was very, very, very interesting. So
now the real question. Does Brady sign that ball and give it up for auction?
Right? Yeah.
Because if that ball by itself is already worth $500,000,
signed? $1 million easily.
I know, right? Hey, look, Tom Brady, that's the easiest $1 million you're ever gonna make.
Yeah,
that's throwing a football for $1 million. I'm just sign a football.
I hope that football ends up on Pawn Stars.
Oh man,
I'd watch that episode.
Wow.
That'd be amazing.
Breaking news. Arizona was first and goal, and Kyler Murray threw a pick because the receiver wasn't paying attention.
Oh, man. I'm literally having it on there right now, and I haven't got to that play yet.
And he's down, and he looks like he's hurt. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Murray?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because it was 24-21 Green Bay, and the Arizona's favored by, I think in the pick, I'm 5.5. So essentially, if Arizona kicks the field goal, gets to overtime, and they get the touchdown to walk it off, they would cover.
Okay.
But so if anything,
what the hell happened? Last time I saw they were down by 2 touchdowns or something like that.
Yeah. So
holy shit. I've been watching the Warriors game. I don't even know.
I'm watching the.
Guess it wasn't. Guess
Wild
that whole.
Ducks
Guess what I told you this morning, John. Isn't too crazy that Green Bay is now 7-0. Well, assuming that they hold on to this, they'll be 7-0 in the last 7 games without Devontae Adams. So that slip up for Arizona is finally looks like it's finally going to come through. So, all right. Anyone else? John.
Also breaking news: Steph Curry's the GOAT.
That's old news, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay, that's old news. But all right. Any other exciting games from you guys you're looking forward to?
Well, what's yours?
What's mine? Well, I'm gonna try to go something.
I haven't got to you and Jason yet.
I'm gonna try to go something a little off the radar here, and
on the radar,
a little off the radar here, and that is I'm actually gonna go with the Patriots Charger game, and the reason I say this is because New England's coming off the big victory. I know it's against the Jets, but they're feeling pretty good. They're back to 500. I believe, right? If I'm not mistaken.
No, not yet.
3-4.
Yeah.
So right there. So 3-4. And now they're going over down to LA against the Chargers. So they have a big opportunity to get themselves back to 500. And not to mention the Chargers, who Jason's been all over them. Well, the last game they played, because they had the bye week last week, they got absolutely obliterated by the Ravens. And just didn't have anything going for them that entire game. So, and I think the reason I'm also looking forward to this too is because I'm expecting the Chargers to come out and win this game. I think they'll cover the spread, which is pretty close to a touchdown spread, but I'm expecting them to win. I'm expecting the Chiefs to win. So basically, the way I'm saying that is because I think we'll see the Chargers get back on it. The Chiefs will get back on track. And we'll have 3 really solid teams in the AFC West that'll battle out the rest of the way of this throughout this season. So that's why I will say I'm looking forward to that game, and that is seeing the Chargers get back right and show that they're still in it too. So I'm going to go with that one. I'm going to go with a non-obvious pick there. So I'm excited for that game.
Fucking sure.
I'll go with a divisional game as well. I'm going to go with the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Because always play.
That'd be a good game.
So it should be a good game.
That's going to come down to the wire, honestly.
Now, the real question for that game, do the Browns have a better chance with Case Keenum or Baker Mayfield?
I think Mayfield's your best option.
I think it's still Mayfield because it's still his non-throwing shoulder.
Yeah.
So.
It's kind of crazy. He actually he has a chip on his shoulder considering this is his contract year, and now he actually has a real chip in his shoulder.
Oh my. Okay. Just end this shit now.
Come on,
All right,
For
that's
fuck's
been
sake.
it's been a good show.
Didn't even make his
NBA.
NBA.
Nucci on the rest of the game. Christ.
God,
All right.
Fucking shitty ones.
Any other NFL before we switch over? Move along. All right, time to move over to the association. Time to move over to the association, and that is NBA with the Warriors. Red hot start. What else can I say? I won't say anything else, so I'll leave it to our NBA insiders, Cohooney and Jason, take over. So, boys, take it away.
Yeah, the Warriors are playing right now. They're up 5 on Memphis. Curry's got 29 points through not even 3 yet. He's about to have 30 and 31. But they're playing really well. It's I kind of mentioned earlier, reminiscent of 2014, 2015. Everybody's moving the ball. A lot of unselfishness. Fun to watch. Very fun to watch. Otto Porter's been a terrific ad. Jordan Poole's kind of been up and down. Some games he has really good games. Some games like tonight, he's having not a great night. I think 1 through 15, guys like Gary Payton Jr., you put him in, they trust him. He's playing great defense. The Warriors have a very favorable schedule coming up. They got 8-game homestand. I mean, I think if you listen to the radio stations and the so-called experts, they're saying 10-2 is realistic, maybe even better. Got to take advantage of this homestand. You got some very winnable games, and just keep on putting pressure on the other teams on the West. Because like I've mentioned before, the West is not a very clear-cut teams that are gonna overwhelm you. I mean, the Lakers are not very. They're all over the place right now, and Utah is going to be Utah. Utah will probably be there. Denver maybe, but I think it's still wide open. And I mean, as long as Steph Curry stays healthy, you got Clay coming back. They're going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Yeah, definitely. The Warriors and the Nuggets, they feel like the exact same team this year. You got the Warriors. The Warriors have Curry, and the Nuggets have Joker, and the Warriors are going to get Clay back eventually, and the Nuggets are going to get Jamal Murray back eventually. I think those are the 2 teams, because Utah, they always do this. They're the best regular season team, but as soon as they make the playoffs, Memphis almost beat them last year, and I think if the Warriors get past Memphis, I think the Warriors actually would have upset them last year. I think Rudy Gobert doesn't match up well with the Warriors ball game. So Warriors, they're looking awesome. They're the kings of California right now. They went through all 3 California teams to start off 3-0, and then they went to OKC, and OKC gave them a game. That's a young team that just doesn't care. They know that they're going to be a bottom seller team. They're going to be a lottery team, and they're going out there. Their rookie Josh Giddey looks really good. Just a couple of games in, he looks really good. That's how good this last draft was. This last draft, people are compared it to the LeBron draft compared to how deep it is. And the Warriors, they're 4-0 right now, and they're 4-0 without Wiseman. They're 4-0 without Clay. They're 4-0 without Kuminga, their lottery pick. And then who knows? Maybe Moses Moody, I think he's down in the G League right now. Maybe he gets going down there, and maybe a couple. I don't expect this year that he'll be part of the rotation, but for how deep this draft is, there's a good chance that guy could become something also. So there's so much to be happy about with the Warriors. Obviously, this game, I hope they win against Memphis, especially how they lost to Memphis in the play-in to get knocked out of the playoffs. So I don't really have much to complain about the Warriors at all. I mean, I believe I'm gonna have to double check, but I think the Bulls lost tonight, so now I think the Warriors and the Jazz are the only two undefeated teams left in the season. I'll check in a little bit to double check. But yeah, it's just if Clay comes back and he's 80% of what he was last 2 years ago, Clay, he can
Bulls
still
lost by 1 to confirm.
Thank you. If Clay can come back and he's 80%, he's still that knockdown shooter. That's still that quickest release in the game outside of Curry shooter. And if he could just be, I don't know, like everyone, the biggest issue with him, everyone knows he's going to be that knockdown shooter still. Can he still be that elite defender? And that's my biggest issue. And Clay is pissed. Like, the media. So back in 2018, I think it was, the media did not put Clay on any of the first, second, or third all NBA players, right? That cost him $30 million in his next contract from the media. And then the media just, because it's the 75th anniversary of the NBA, the media just did all 75, like the best 75 players of all time. Klay Thompson wasn't on the list. He is coming back thirsty and pissed. He is out for a vendetta. Pissed off Klay? Shit. Game 6, Klay has nothing on pissed off Klay. So, the Warriors, they're going to be a top 4 team in the West. It's just, what do they do once they get there and if they are healthy?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Kuminga and Moody, I don't expect much from them this year. They're not going to get much run, I don't think. They're going to go down to the G League, get some run down there, and get some conditioning.
I honestly, I don't know if Kuminga will be a G League player, because I'm looking at a lot of these like top 10 players, like Duarte out of the Pacers. He is playing big minutes. He's like a knockdown threat shooter. They went to overtime in back-to-back games. Both games he played 45 minutes with the overtime concluded. This draft is so deep. I don't know if Kuminga is just going to be only if they're blown out, or a G League player. I think there's a good chance if he gets his legs under him, he could be a rotational player. Obviously, the Warriors are deep. They got Otto Porter and Bleak, but can never say his name, coming off, and the Warriors, they're you picked them to go to the finals. I wasn't sure after 4 games.
Damn.
Hey, anything's possible.
No, Kuminga, I mean, they don't need him to be.
I understand.
1 through 12 is going to get their run. I mean, Kuminga's a rookie. He'll be, he'll come in if he's even up with the Warriors, he'll come in when they need some energy and they need maybe some defense and some fast break action. But other than that, I think he'll be down in the G League for a little while and get some run down there.
Yeah, I understand that. I mean, it's to the point where, Otto Porter, Iguodala, like they have so many good like veteran. Like that Otto Porter signing, like it was under the radar, and he's been really good.
Yeah,
Damian Lee, like he's one of the reasons they beat the Thunder. Like how good he did. So
Warriors are deep. And
I know I'm not a basketball fan, but I did happen to catch some of the last Warriors game where I'm trying to recall who they're playing, but it doesn't matter.
They're playing the Thunder.
Okay, yeah. Wiggins, he looked good. Like it seemed he was very aggressive with going to the basket, even if in coverage, just going underneath, working hard for that 2 points, if not getting the foul. And I actually really was impressed to see that, because I feel like you guys kind of need that extra grit beyond, because Draymond, sure, he has that grit, but a lot of times he kind of gets a little too aggressive. But it's good to see some good skill and firepower from some young guys. So now that motherfucker is tall too. That guy is tall as hell.
Yeah. That's the crazy part. We're not even talking about Wiggins, and he's definitely going under the radar as well. He's he's going to average somewhere between 16 and 19 a game for the season. They don't need it because of how deep they are. Like Damian Lee, Jordan Poole, like those two are big knockdown shooters, especially Curry. I mean, Curry's averaging over 30 points a game.
Yeah.
Like with Wiggins, literally Wiggins and Draymond just be those elite defenders that we need you to be. Like that's all they need him. And Curry and Draymond's pick and roll game, like that's the deadliest pick and roll game of the whole league.
Yeah. This just in, Sharks are down 2-0 to a shitty Montreal Canadiens club.
The freaking jerseys, man, I tell you.
Thanks for breaking that to me when I'm way behind on my phone.
Hey,
I'm on the John.
That.
You're on the my bad. Sorry, I'll do the 10-minute delay. Sorry.
Give me at least 20.
Yeah. God fucking damn it, dude.
Yeah. And then just something, obviously, I think we're done talking about the Warriors, but just something I thought was hilarious with the Lakers. Obviously, LeBron's been out the last 2 games due to dealing with a nagging injury. So Westbrook's, getting a couple more extra parts with a bigger role, right? Well, they lost to the OKC Thunder yesterday, the Thunder team that hadn't won a single game that is going to be bottom sellers. At the end of the game, Baisley, who's a 21-year-old kid, I think it's only his second or third year in the league, steals a ball with 5 seconds to go in a 5-point game and goes and dunks it. Right?
Someone was pissed.
Russell Westbrook went after him, saying, like, you don't do that, right? To the point where he got ejected. And he's in an interview is saying, like, maybe I'm just old school. When I grew up, you don't do that. You dribble the ball out, right? And I just started laughing because I'm like, motherfucker, you're the biggest stat padding motherfucker in this whole league. And you're going to go after a 20-year-old kid for dunking with 5 seconds to go. Like, that would be a play that you would do if there was. And they literally brought up a play from like 5 years ago when he was at OKC, where there was like 2 seconds left on the clock and he got the ball and he dunked it just so he can hit a triple double. In a game that they had won. Today? So I was laughing like, you are such a hypocrite.
Yeah, but that's what basketball is, a bunch of prima donnas, bunch of fucking hypocrites. It's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Like, I know that obviously, that football players and baseball players, sure, but no, I feel like basketball players are really big prima donnas and they're very big hypocrites where they do not hesitate to sit there and cry over the dumbest shit when it's like, when no one's looking, they would do the exact same fucking thing. It's like,
outside the Warriors, the 2 biggest things to look at right now is the Lakers' early season issues, and then also there's a rule change in the NBA this year. And it's actually, ironically, it's a rule that the Nets head coach Steve Nash was complaining about Trae Young in the playoffs last year. And it's actually more the James Harden rule. With offensive players, they used last year, they would drive to the net and an unnatural offensive move. Like they would just throw their arms in the air to create contact, and they would get called and they would go and shoot free throws. Well, the NBA changed the rule, and that if a ref deems what you're doing is not a natural basketball move, that's not a foul, no matter how much contact, right? James Harden, in the last the last 5 seasons, he's had over 40 games where he's averaged. He has over 40 games where he's hit 15 free throws in a game, right?
Damn.
Through 5 games, he only has 15 free throws attempted.
Jeez.
So the Brooklyn Nets, especially with Kyrie not playing because of the whole vaccination issue, the James Harden is not the James Harden that he was in Houston and was last year. That team is not going to make the finals. So no matter how much Kevin Durant is going insane bonkers right now. So those are the 2 teams to look at right now. Is Russell Westbrook and James Harden early season, issues, are they going to affect those two teams? Because those are the two teams everyone was picking to go to the finals. Craig, you got anything to say about basketball?
Nothing.
Quit it, move on.
Okay.
And hopefully you're all a big fan of Cohooney, because if you liked him rambling on about a rule change, you get to hear more about him, because it is the Cohooney 5.
God damn. Rambling on? I didn't think I was rambling on. I thought Ben was rambling on about hockey.
Well,
Oh, he's not even there.
I mean,
My dick.
Well, anyways, we'll move on. Cooney, it's your turn to. Well, I mean, it's been your turn for the last like 20 days, but anyways, take it away.
I'm
Cohooney.
I'm here.
It's the Cohooney 5. Hi, listen. Hey, well, don't forget. Don't let me get away with this. I know you get the bowling recap in there too, so choose wisely whichever one you'd like to go with first.
Always start with the bowling recap.
Start with the bowling recap, then get to Cohooney 5. Recap last week's bets as well as what you got going on this weekend.
Yep. So for the bowling recap, we have an odd amount of teams in the league, right? There's only 9 teams in the league, while you have to have an even amount. So there's a vacant team, and if you bowl a vacant team, pretty much just bowling by yourselves, and you have to bowl within 30 pins of your team average to get a point. If you don't get a point, right? I don't like bowling against vacant teams. I don't like the constant moving. I like enjoying bowl and then wait for the other teams to bowl. So I struggled. I couldn't get in a rhythm. I think I bowled my worst I bowled in a couple of months. I shot 2 170 games and a 160 game. We ended up only getting our team average twice out of the 4 possible points. So that's very unfortunate. And we're about to play the first place team next week. So I was kind of hoping that we were going to keep the momentum going, and looks like we didn't. So hopefully I can get back on the roll, because I struggled really bad this last week. But to go on to the Cohooney 5, how funny is that? There was not a fight canceled, but there was a draw in the fight. So once again, I have a no contest. So I went 2-2-1 last week to put my overall record to 71, 55, and 9. Finally, after God knows how long, we have a pay-per-view. All these shitty fight weeks have been awful. But to start the pay-per-view, we got I always mess up his name. Kamatsat Chimaev, one of the best up-and-coming fighters in the whole division, faking off Li Yian. Chimaev's going to win this. It's not even close. Oh, man. This is not good. Sorry, guys. Can you guys go to the softball? I got to go to the bathroom. I can't do it. Sorry, guys.
Forrest from Dublin just texted me the thing about Bob Melvin, and he's like, "Well, fun being an A's fan."
Damn.
Yeah, baby.
That's just unnecessary. All right, I guess we'll skip over. We'll jump over to the softball recap. Not a whole lot to get into, as the rain has begun to hit the Bay Area. We had a massive storm hit here on Sunday.
Yep.
That was insane. But anyway, so yeah, we kicked it off starting with Friday last week. So no game there. Fields were no condition to play. Same thing with Monday after the storm hit on Sunday, and then as it crept into the early hours of the Monday morning, no game there as well. We ended up getting our Tuesday night game in, and the good news is we finally started spotting runs, which has been something that we should have been doing from weeks before. So we started spotting 10 runs this past week. And the biggest shocker of them all is that we lost. So, ended up losing 17-16. Just didn't get the offense going. The fields were, the dirt was in good condition. The outfield was terrible. But anyways, got to a point. We went into the bottom of the 7th down by 5. We ended up getting 4. Had the tying run at third base with 2 outs. Ended up grounding out. Game ended. So first loss there on Tuesday nights. Am I at all concerned that that's gonna put a damper on the rest of the season and change up anything that's probably inevitable happening anyways? No, I don't think anything's gonna change, but still, it was nice to have a real competitive game, kind of chasing. It's kind of makes, you kind of feel like you have to put your foot on the gas pretty much from the start to finish. So exciting game, but obviously didn't pan out. Then we jump into last night, back on Wednesday nights, first game back in Hayward in a week, and went up against Pitchmakers, which that was also our last game the previous Wednesday after having a week off. And a little bit better of a game. We were able to get the offense going early, and we were able to continue kind of throughout the game. We added some more runs on, but unfortunately, their offense, one of the most lethal we probably ever went up against, they just kept hitting, and we ended up dropping the score of 20-10. Again, Wednesdays, it's a tough one. We're in the upper division now. We're playing against very solid teams, and I think for the most part, we're doing a really good job of holding our own. But at the end of the day, this is definitely just one of those tough ones, and go out there and compete the best that we can. And if we could pull off a win, I mean, one thing that is to look forward to is we do go up against Bat Intentions next Wednesday. They're 3-0, so they haven't lost yet, and we were a hit away from possibly beating them in the first game. So in that crazy game that we had there, so I think that'll be a really fun game to see if we can maybe pull off. I don't know if you want to call it a huge upset. I don't think it is. I think we're relatively on the same level of competition as that team. So it'll be a good game. I think it's a good toss up, and I think it'll be we'll have to play very solid to pull off a victory for sure. So, but yeah, I don't think I have any two complaints. I think for the most part, we're holding our own in just a really, really tough league for us. So, but if there's anything to add on, I guess, Ben, we haven't had a game, so nothing you can really add on, but I guess Jason, Cohoon, anything you want to add from last night's game, maybe?
No, just really, really muddy. First game back since all that rain. I think it was the first inning. There was a blooper in the right field, and I went to go grab it, and my whole right foot dug into the mud, and I literally slid, I don't know, 10 feet. It was a long line, so that wasn't fun. And then probably one of my funny part is the two balls that I hit that I got out on were I squared it up so well. I probably hit the farthest I've hit it all season, and they were both outs just because I got under it too much. Maybe I should stick to just line drives. I don't know. But yeah, it was Pitchmakers. You've told me about how good they are before, so I'm not shocked of how the game went.
Yeah, and not to mention when they're not spotting runs and they're trying all that they can now.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're just all around a good club, so you really can't do
fast,
much about it. Oh yeah, this they're all short, fast, speedy people. So yeah, you really can't second guess yourself if you're gonna do something. They make plays, they hit really well, and they always want that extra bag. So it's crazy to play against them. It's a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
I will add one other thing too that was definitely nice to say before I let you say anything. I think one thing also I really liked too was we were the home team, and the last time we played against them, we ended up essentially getting run ruled. It was 19-7, but it wasn't like one of those games where, well, I guess it was close early. They put up a big inning, and then it kind of just got away from us, and we couldn't hit offensively. Unlike this game where I think our offense, did score some, and then we kept adding on. It wasn't a lot, but we kept adding a few here and there. We got down 5-0 in the first inning. So before we even hit the bat, we were down by 5 runs. And I think that could have been a game that we could have just, not put up anything in the first inning. And then all of a sudden it could get ugly, early. And then it's just a matter of, okay, well, let's get to the 4th inning until when the run rule kicks in. But it never did. It never did happen. So we ended up bouncing back. And I think we took the lead in the first inning. Was it 6-5 after
6-5
end? 6-5 after the first. So, it was good for us, but to battle back. And especially with, a lot of us not swinging a bat for a whole week. It was good to see that our offense is still, ready to go. So, but anyways, Jason, if there's anything else you wanted to add on.
Not too much. I mean,
oh, his audio kicked out.
Fucking Starbucks.
Yep. Unbelievable. Guess we'll wait and see if the audio will kick in here.
Go figure. The one
time, there it is. He's back.
I don't want to talk, whatever. No, Pitchmakers, they just hit it where we weren't. It's not like we made too many errors.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off again, but I was saying another thing too is that we had a couple plays too where Haley slid that went off her glove, and I mean they were going to be crazy catches if she made them, but I mean if she makes one of those plays,
she made the first one, we would have been tied at the end of the inning too. Yeah. That's the crazy part. Like
so,
she almost made both of them.
Yeah. So they were hell of an effort from her on both of those plays. So. I mean, I wouldn't go out of the way and say that, it would have changed the results of the game, but yeah, I mean, definitely would have been interesting to see if we were at least in a better position to maybe try to pull off the, potential, tying game or walk it off or anything in the bottom of that last inning. So, but all right, Cooney, are you ready this time? Are you ready to go?
Well, yeah, I don't have a full bladder this time, so it's a little easier.
All right, cool. All right. Cooney 5, take number 2. Take it away.
Yep. Take over 2. Now I'm not going to recap my overall record: 71, 55, and 9. Going into the UFC pay-per-view, going to start off Khamzat Chimaev over Leon. Chimaev, he's just undefeated fighter. I'm so happy he's fighting again because during COVID, he actually got hit with really bad COVID outbreak or COVID symptoms to the point where he actually retired from the UFC, and because it was that bad, he did not think he was going to travel because he's not from America. He didn't want to travel and all that stuff, but he decided to come back out of retirement. This is his first back fight in almost 2 years, and huge favorite. He's way better than Lee. He's gonna win this one. I think I don't want to say first round, but second round at the latest. Then next up, we got in the heavyweight division. We got Alexander Volkov versus Marcin Tybura. Tybura on a 5-fight win streak, which is amazing in the heavyweight division. That doesn't happen that often unless you're like top tier. And this is his proven fight facing off against Volkov, who he's that fringe heavyweight contender. He's really good, but he's not that top echelon. He'll never be a champion. Like his last 3 losses, Derek Lewis, who just fought Cyril Gahn for the interim title, which also Volkov lost to, and then also Curtis Blades, who's arguably one of the best, also just like Volkov, who just can't get into that upper echelon. But yeah, Volkov, though, I don't think Tybura is the upper echelon either. I think Volkov in Tybura's proven fight, Volkov finishes him. So give me Volkov. And then the next fight is Islam Makhachev over Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker just fought in the last pay-per-view last month, and he's taking this short notice fight after Rafael Dos Anjos had to pull out due to injury. Makhachev, he's a beast. There's nothing more to say. He's the mini Khabib, and he's going to beat Hooker. This is the biggest favorite on the card. As much as my heart says Hooker, it's not a good matchup for Hooker. The good thing is these two people hate each other, so they're not going to come out and look. They're going to come out firing, and there's going to be a finish in this fight, so it's going to be a fun fight while it lasts. And then next up,
do you think the police will be involved if he's beating Hooker? Beating a Hooker?
You know what's hilarious about that? I was actually on Twitch, and I said I wrote down Dan Hooker, and my comment got flagged.
Nice.
Oh, at the time that what did you say on Twitter, Jay, that got you banned?
Oh, Steph Curry made a comment about a curveball, and I said hang him and bang him, and I got banned on Twitter
for like 24 hours.
Like, hang him and bang him, and that got you banned.
That was enough.
It was funny. So that happened, and then the other person was talking about another division, and there's this guy named Jared Cannonier, right? And I wrote down Jared Cannonier, and that one also got flagged. I'm like, Cannonier got flagged? Really? Whatever. Okay, and then the next fight, the co-main event is for the interim bantamweight title fight. Peter
Piper?
No, it's not Peter. It's a difficult name. Peter Yan facing off against Corey Stanhagen.
It's not even close.
Peter Yan was the former champion, and he actually lost his title for an illegal knee, and it's the first time a fighter has ever lost a title due to a disqualification. facing off against Corey Sandhagen, who also is coming off a loss to Cesar Dillashaw. So these are two fighters who are coming off losses, fighting for our interim title. So that's a little different. So, but I got Jan winning this, and then I see Craig eye rolling, so I'll go quick. Jan Blachowicz.
No, it wasn't to you. It was something that happened in the Sharks game.
Okay, Jan Blachowicz facing off against Glover Teixeira for the light heavyweight title in the main event. As much as I would love to see Teixeira in his long UFC career actually win a title, he's not beating Jan Blachowicz. This is as much as I would want to as much as I want to find an underdog on this main card to bet. There's none. There's so many good fighters. So my Cohooney 5 for this week: Chimaev, Volkov, Makachev, Jan, and Blachowicz.
I feel like Craig went yawn during that whole thing.
Yeah, I saw.
I was literally recapping that power play shot they had where I think Bonino like deflected it like right in front of Allen, and
No one's fucking there.
well, no, so like they had that pass that he was back skating, and I can't remember who shot it, but he like blasted it, and I think Bonino probably doesn't touch it, maybe goes in, but instead Bonino deflects it, and he's like right there in front, and it deflects it right into Allen's pad, and then it goes wide.
Gotcha.
So yeah, just not getting the bounces as
Nope,
much as,
not tonight.
so we're gonna do. All right, something is back. 2-week hiatus. Jason, it's time for
Get off my lawn!
Get It Off My Lawn is back. It's been, like I said, a couple weeks off. So Jason, something is finally bothering you. You've been very calm and everything, but someone's got you angry. So take it away.
I wouldn't necessarily call it anger. I'd say like more frustrated than anything. It's with one of my teams. It's the 49ers. I want to know what their plan is. Acquiring talent, either to the draft or free agency. We obviously know the Jimmy G Trey Lance thing. That's fine. But they drafted a guy in Aaron Banks in the second round and a cornerback in Amber in the third round. And they can't sniff the field for whatever reason. They feel like they are projects, and in the NFL, it's a win now league. It isn't like, hey, we're gonna project them 4 or 5 years down the road. It's win now or you lose your job. And I don't understand why you're wasting draft picks on talent that you're just gonna not play. And whether it's health or whatever, you got to figure something out. Whether that means bringing somebody into the front office as another evaluator or something. But you guys are missing on draft picks. You're fine on the later rounds. You found Kittle in the 5th round. Great. I mean, you found Warner in the 3rd. Cool, but your 1st and 2nd round. Nick Bosa, Craig, you could have drafted Nick Bosa. Like, it was a slam dunk.
Right, baby.
Yeah. So I just question what, injuries happen. I get it. Javal Kinlaw, you traded DeForest Buckner. Cool, you got the 13th pick from him. You got Javal Kinlaw. He's out probably for the rest of the season. And you didn't really factor in much last year. So you really traded DeForest Buckner. It's just I'm questioning their decisions. And I get it. Hindsight's 20/20 always. But it just seems like it's happening time and time again where the blame has to fall somewhere. And it seems like they got no blame can come down on Kyle Shanahan or John Lynch. And it's frustrating. You guys were just in a Super Bowl 2 years ago. You had a boatload of talent, and now we don't know what we're getting each week. Kind of like the Raiders, what you said, Craig. You don't know what team's going to show up, and it's frustrating. If I've said it last week, if the Niners lose to the Bears, pull the plug on Jimmy. I don't care about him anymore. Let's move on and figure something else out. But I don't know about you guys, but that's just my take. It's frustrating as a fan. High expectations this year. I get it. Injuries happen. Kittle's out for another game. It's just one thing after another. So it's just frustrating, and I get off my lawn.
Valid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Jay, you at least feel better.
A little bit.
Get off shoulders a little bit. I mean, I'm guessing if they do lose to the Bears, you won't feel a whole lot better. But
I'll be throwing shit if they lose to the Bears.
Just don't throw anything over our direction.
Don't you mess up your back anymore.
All right. As we getting towards the end of the show, it is one other weekly segment coming on, and one of at least my favorites, I would say. It is the Hit It or Quit It segment. Now, if you've seen one of our shows, you know what this is all about. But if you're brand new, give you a little idea of how it goes. We basically all take turns presenting a question, and it comes down to if we're hitting it or we quit. We all take turns and just state what we're feeling on that topic. So, boys, I think we all probably have something. So, anyone want to start things off?
I'll start it off.
Okay.
I'm only going to start off because, unfortunately, this is kind of has to do with Jason's get off my lawn. So Kyle Shanahan is seen as this offensive guru and one of the smartest head coaches in the league. You say something bad about him, and you have the media and you have fans like going after you for it. Well, as a head coach, he has a 44% win rate. 44. He's also the head coach he's also the head coach and the offensive play caller. Well, who was the last team he was a play caller for? The Atlanta Falcons. What has he done at both those two teams? He's blown fourth quarter leads in the Super Bowl. I kind of push back on this whole you cannot say that Kyle Shanahan's not in the hot seat, because like I said, a 44% win rate as the 49ers head coach with all that talent. So hit or quit it. Kyle Shanahan will be let go if the Niners finish under 500.
I'll go. I quit it. He's not gonna get let go if they finish 500. He has too much of a contract, too many years left. If he had like a couple years left, I could see it, but they'll give him the benefit of the doubt, I think, at least for one more season, maybe two, but not after this season. No, I'll quit it.
Yeah, I'm following suit on that one. I just think for exactly what he was saying. And I think the excuses are kind of running out. I know you could use last year with the injuries as a big thing. I know they're a factor this year, but I just don't think you can get away with it using that as a full-on excuse. But I don't know. I just think for exactly what Jay said with the whole contracts, I just don't think this year will be the year that they let him go. So, I mean, unless they just absolutely catastrophically just downhill all the way down. But then again, I mean, if you turn the keys over to Trey Lance, I mean, can you really hold it? Like they do essentially pull the plug like Jason's kind of suggesting that they do, especially with Chicago. So I don't know. I think that's a little too soon. I don't think we can necessarily push those ideas and thoughts down completely. I think it's still going to be there, but I just think it's too soon. So I'm quitting it.
How long has Shanahan been a coach for the 49ers now?
This fourth year, I think.
I will hit it. I think there's a possibility that could happen, because if they go below 500 with the talent they have, I think that's a very good chance, just because again, like there's been certain situations where the play calling is a little oddball and it kind of is questionable. And then again, I know that the 49ers do follow our podcast and hear Jason going off about
you know, it's like this is news to me.
I don't think so, Jim.
The kind of just downright unorthodox style with Trey Lance and Garoppolo. Like they're giving Garoppolo a little bit too much room for what he's doing with his performance. So I think that, yeah, there is a good chance that it could happen. So I'll hit it, but I would not be surprised if he doesn't, just because it's been so ass backwards already. I mean, why not just keep that trend going? So yeah, I would say hit it though.
Yeah. I'm going to quit it that he'll be let go, but honestly, it's getting to the point where he needs to just take over the head coaching reins. Let someone else worry about play calling, because he's just, I don't know what it is about Kyle Shanahan, but like it's nothing surprising teams anymore. I mean, you could argue, oh, it's all the injuries and stuff, but if he's going to be the head coach for the Niners, let him deal with being the head coach. Stop, maybe give the offensive playing caller to someone else and see how it goes from there. But yeah, I don't think they're going to get rid of him, but it wouldn't shock me, if they somehow fall below Seattle and they finish 4th in the division after actually at the beginning of the season having Super Bowl promise, like I could see a change being made.
That works. Who's next?
I'll go. Same team. Just mentioned it. Niners traded away essentially 3 first-round draft picks for Trey Lance. They don't have a whole lot of draft capital, going forward. They do have a special player playing tight end who just can't seem to stay healthy. Hit it or quit it. Would you trade George Kittle?
I'll go first. I'll quit it. You can't. I understand he can't stay healthy, but the amount, what he is when he's on the field, is just so valuable. Like, not only is he one of the better catching backs outside of Kelsey, he's an excellent goddamn blocker. Like, he's not just, oh, I'm only a catcher and I don't know how to do anything else. I'm a wide receiver playing tight end. He's not. He is just so valuable, It would be like the Niners getting rid of Juszczyk. Like, you know how valuable he is at fullback? Like, I understand fullback's a dying species in the NFL, but Juszczyk is so valuable for that Niners team. Like, you do not get rid of a tight end like that. Like, it's especially how bad the tight end spot is right now in the NFL. Like, the Eagles just traded Zach Ertz, but they got Dallas Goedert. Like, that just goes to show, like, if you have a really good tight end, like, how valuable they are. So, yeah, I would never trade George Kittle, so I will quit it.
Yep. I'm in the same church, same pew with that one. I just think George Kittle's too special of a player to trade him away. So I know the health is a concern, but just a lot of the points you guys are talking about, I just think he's too special of a guy for them to trade away. So I mean, if you're gonna do it, you better get a real nice package for that. So
That's what she said.
We'll quit it as well.
Yeah, I'd have to quit it as well. He's essentially a franchise player in a way. The way I see him, he's a very skilled player, very capable at doing just about anything with the ball, to make plays and be that clutch player when you need him. And I know health is a big factor, but at the same time, there's plenty of other big name players that have just as bad of health histories as he does.
Is it also fair to say that he is the most popular, like, active 49er on this team? Like, among fans, without a doubt.
Yes.
So how well is that going to go over your fan base if you get rid of your most, like, well-liked player?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like people trying to say that the Warriors should trade Curry.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Don't think it's gonna go all that well. So
yeah.
I'll quit it as well. I mean, he needs to stay healthy. It's just the style that he plays. He plays aggressive, and I get it, injuries do happen, but I already have one retro jersey probably happening with my Chapman A's, and I don't want another retro Kittle jersey. I'll quit it for that reason alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Well, I'll go ahead and do mine. So obviously, with the release of the manager Bob Melvin and him going over to the Padres, hit it or quit it. That because Melvin is given essentially a win now team and a lot of skilled players, hit it or quit it that the Padres will win a World Series within the next 3 years for his first contract. Don't rush. Don't rush. No rush here.
That's a good
Jason, yeah, it is a good question. But also, Jason, obviously, I'm on the delayed stream, so if whatever happens with the Warriors game, don't spoil it.
No problem.
I can't. It is a really good question because, like Craig said, they're about to get Mike Clevenger back, and then imagine if their team just comes back to life. What if Will Myers becomes back to Will Myers from when he was one of the best picks, first overall pick, or whatever it was, top first round pick. Same with Eric Hosmer. Like, he had so many players last year that had down years. So can Melvin, do what he does with the A's, get him to the playoffs, and then from there can the stars take over because they are so top heavy. But to win a World Series, like if you were to tell me make a World, did you say make or win?
Win.
I'm gonna have to quit it just because, like, obviously I have to go with the field for the next 3 years. They still got the Dodgers, they still have the Giants, who now who knows? Maybe they start spending money because they actually.
Let's not forget about all the teams in the American League too. They would have to,
It's really difficult to hit that. I'm gonna have to quit it.
Yeah, I just think for exactly. I think. It's 3 years. I think you got to roll with the field. Now make the playoffs, be a contender. I'm all for that, but at the same time, it's just hard to say because I would at least want to see like what this team looks like going into next season. Like what other moves that they might make. We talked about in the baseball segment. The Padres GM has shown he's very aggressive. So what moves will they make to possibly, turn this team down? They had a very disappointing, just like the A's, they had a very disappointing second half of the season. They had guys just underperforming all over the place. Tatis's health was a whole concern. They had him basically playing right field or center field, whatever it was, because of all the injuries that he dealt with and everything like that. So it's tough to say. But if you're asking me right here, right now to win a World Series next 3 years, I just can't confidently say hit it. So with that being said, I'm quitting it.
I'm going to quit it as well, and I'm going to give you another reason why. I think with the collective bargaining agreement, I do think that the Major League Baseball will expand their playoffs to be in each AL and NL. And I think the first round will be 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
And anything can happen when that happens. So it's going to be even tougher for the Padres to get there. And since you're singling out the team in 3 years, no question they have the talent to. It's just, you need a lot of luck. You need a lot of injury luck. You need a lot of things to go right to get there. Look at the Dodgers. Look at the Giants. You need a lot of luck.
Yankees.
And the Yankees. Yeah, I'm gonna quit it, but they're definitely talented enough.
Mm-hmm.
You guys all
Ben?
answer?
All right.
Yeah, we did.
I already know I don't know what you're gonna do too. I can already sense it.
I mean,
You're gonna go for the reverse jinx. You're going for the reverse jinx.
No, I think with their on paper, I think that they could win in 3 years. But again, like they can't seem to stay healthy with some of their big names. It is what it is. So I'm gonna, unfortunately, I'll say hit it. I think that'd be pretty impressive to see them and hoist the cup or chalice or whatever the hell they get. So I think that I think that they will win it all within the next 3 years, and I think they'll get a couple minor pieces and fill the void where they need. So yeah, boom.
That's what she said.
Congratulations. You just jinxed the Padres.
Yeah.
Thanks for that, dickhead. All right. I have an NFL question for you. So I know we talked about the Raiders a little bit, just we don't really know what we're going to get from them. The Chiefs, my God, what a disaster that's been. They're sitting at 3-4 now, which if anyone didn't see that coming, it was Cohooney. But my question is for you guys. These teams, they've both played 7 games up to this point. Now the Raiders have the bye week this week. The Chiefs do play against the Giants, so very winnable game there. But the Raiders currently have a 2-game lead over the Chiefs in the division. My question to you guys is, at the end of week number 18, I guess in the form of to quit it, the Raiders will be ahead of the Kansas City Chiefs at the end of the regular season. Hit it or quit it.
I'll go first. I'm going to hit it. And I'm going to say the Raiders have a more balanced team on offense and defense. The defense of the Chiefs is trash, and Mahomes hasn't been Mahomes. I think they're just more balanced. Derek Carr's having a pretty solid year. The run game's good. The receivers are good. You got Darren Waller, obviously. And yeah, your defense is holding their own. So yeah, I'm gonna hit it.
I'm going to quit it. I'm looking at the schedule right now. I think they both finished with 9 wins. I think they both go 9-7. They finished with the same record.
Can't go 9-7.
Yeah, 10-7.
9-8. Fuck you guys.
I'm making the rules, man. Just enforcing them.
Yeah.
Shut up, Ben. You're just here so you don't get fined.
Just trying to help you out.
You play to win the game.
So is that your educated guess?
Obviously.
All right, moving on. So,
Even though neither me or you are.
Okay, well here, John, quick question then, really quickly. Just you don't have to go into too much of this one. So I guess I'll just ask you: do you think they're going to split the 2 games against each other? You think they'll both win 1 game apiece?
Yes.
All right, Ben.
Yeah, I think hit
it as if you think the Raiders will finish ahead of them.
You know, I think yeah, but I'm gonna have to quit it just because I think that Mahomes and the Chiefs will just kind of turn it on maybe the last quarter of the season and then surpass the Raiders. I mean, yeah, I totally agree that the Raiders are a more balanced team, but they're also very inconsistent in the history. And so I think that you'll see that kind of later in the season. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say quit it.
Yeah, I was looking at the schedule a little bit, just kind of getting an idea. I was just kind of going through it for each one and just kind of said, I think there'll be a win here, loss here, whatever. And I basically came up with a 1-game difference. And surprisingly, I came up with the Raiders actually ahead. So I'm going to hit it as well. I think the Chiefs, I think, maybe have a little bit of a tougher schedule. I think one game that I think plays in the Raiders' favor is I think the Chiefs have a game against the Packers while the Raiders have a lesser opponent in kind of like the oddball game because they both still have to play the Cowboys. They both have the Chargers one more time. They both have to play the Bengals. So they both have some similar opponents, but I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head who the Raiders play. I guess that you would say would take the placement of that Chiefs-Packer game necessarily. But yeah, so I have a 1-game difference. Could very well be wrong on here, but I'll hit it. I think the Chiefs just, and it's something that Jay said too, that defense, that whole defense just looks totally out of disarray with Kansas City. So, I also agree that I think they'll find a way to split. I think the Raiders will win 1 game, the Chiefs win 1 game against head-to-head. So I'll say 1-game difference. I think I had the Raiders at going, I highballing it. I guess I have them at 10-7 and the Chiefs at 9-8. So I will hit it. All right. Okay. Anything else? Any other side questions? Nope. All right. Well, that wraps it up for Hit It or Quit It for this weekly segment. And we are just about ready to say goodnight. But as we always do at the end of each show, we like to close things off with our shout outs. It goes to people we might know, businesses all over the place. We've had a lot of different things that have been shouted out on this show. Anything you think of, it's probably happened. So, I'm not gonna lie. I speak for all of us. I think we felt we weren't on top of our shout out game the last show. So we all kind of made it a commitment to come up with some actual decent ones for this one. I know for sure I have a couple that I'm happy with. So hopefully everyone has at least one that they're happy with going into this one. So boys, whichever one who wants to start it off.
I'll go first. I'd like to shout out a place I go to often, the cheesesteak shop in Hayward, the killer sandwiches. Best thing come out of Philly. Cheesesteaks probably.
Nice.
And Rocky
Like
Balboa.
it. Like it.
Rocky Balboa.
Yeah, so shout them out. And also going to shout out our co-host Ben for hosting a Halloween party this weekend. Looking forward to that. And yeah, that's what I got.
Oh, John.
Yeah, I'm gonna shout out the bowling alley over in Dublin, Earl Anthony's Dublin Bowl. You know, they're back and running. The winter leagues have started. Well, fall/winter, you know, through spring leagues have started. Hey, Monday nights during summer, it was only like 2 leagues, but the winter league, well, like I said, it's taken up all but 4 lanes. Like there's people back out there bowling. It's good. It's really good to see. So yeah, just go ahead and, you know, the bowling alleys. There's not many left out there in the Bay Area, so go and support the local bowling alley. And then on the side note, I don't think he's going to win it, but I did say that Sean Murphy was going to win AL Gold Glove.
Nice.
He became a finalist. I think Salvador Perez wins, so I do think that I'm going to lose my bet to Ben. But
Chipotle burrito, bitch.
just the fact that Sean Murphy is a finalist. I sent the group the GIF. Don't give me hope, and unfortunately, I have hope.
Yeah, I mean, you knew that he was going to be in contention for it, but unfortunately, Perez.
I honestly wasn't sure.
Really, after, I had a feeling he was going to get it, be in contention, but like Perez, just with his numbers, he had a really good year. Perez, like,
after the Jan Gomes trade, like Gomes was playing catcher more than Murphy, so I was like worried that was going to cost him.
Yeah,
but doesn't look like it way.
But Craig, you got anything?
Yeah, I got a couple. First one I want to shout out is good friends of all of us on the program, as well as softball teammates of all, as well as Keith and Kelly. My parents from other family tree, as I would call them, as we all share the same last name, but we have no relation. They actually celebrated the wedding anniversary this past, I guess, Tuesday. I believe they said it was their 19-year anniversary. So happy belated anniversary, I guess, to them. I was lucky enough to at least hang out with them on the actual anniversary. I had dinner with them. So that was a good time. So yeah, happy anniversary to those two. And then also have a birthday shout out. I want to give out to our boy Jergy. It's coming up on Monday, the 1st. Some of us like to call him BDJ. I'm not going to say what that is exactly. I'll let y'all figure that out on your own, come up with your own conclusions. But shout out to our boy Eric. He has been one of our special guest judges on one of our Jocrities back in the day when we did those things. It's been a long time. But yeah, so happy birthday to him. I don't even know how old he's turning. Doesn't even matter. He looks damn good for his age. So
yes, sir.
So yeah, happy early birthday to him. But those are the two I got today.
Yeah, no, I got a couple. So shout out to Sky Vodka and Red Bull. Solid fun time tonight.
Nice.
For sure. So gotta represent. But also a serious one was shout out to Kyle Beach, the former Blackhawks player that came out to after being the John Doe of that 2010 incident by sexual harassment by the video judge, I guess, for the Blackhawks. A lot of shit went down, but it seems like after 11 years, shit's finally being handled about that. Joe Quenneville was the coach of that team, and he just stepped down as the Florida Panthers head coach, and they're 7-0, and a lot of heat was coming his way. He had a meeting with Bettman, the commissioner, and he stepped down. So you knew that there was a lot of shady shit going down, unfortunately. And, you know, I find it a little weird that a lot of players in that who are going to be in that dressing room all have the same answer that they didn't know, and this and that, like Patrick Kane, all these big name players. And so I'm happy that even though he's getting a lot of flack from the Chicago Blackhawks organization, he still stepped up, felt confident enough to do the right thing, make it known. And it kind of, unfortunately, kind of puts some gray area and shade towards the NHL, because Gary Bettman, a couple weeks back when Leonard made that tweet, about the NHL and the doctors and stuff, and he said that he came out and said that there was they have a 1-800 number and they're an open book. I call fucking bullshit, because clearly not. He went through the channels during the time and people kept threatening his career and this and that. So unfortunately, it's really shitty. But I'm glad that some stuff is being done now. And I can only hope that things go better for anybody who needs to speak out or gets put in that type of situation in the future or currently, and things will actually be done. So yeah, no, big deal for Beach to come out of hiding and feel confident enough to say what needs to be said. So good on for you, man.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
All right. Well, that's a good way to wrap up the show, I think. So, all right, fellas, it was a good show. It was a long one, a lot to get to. We got through it all. Only thing else to add is to all the people, thank y'all for tuning in as always. If you're returning, we appreciate it. And if this is the first time listening, we really appreciate it too. We're here for any of the feedback you might have for us, good or bad. You can give it to us if you know us, but we also appreciate it over at our YouTube channel. It's at Sports Bets, but Mostly Chaos Podcast over at YouTube. Make sure to subscribe there, get alerted with any new videos we got. We have multiple different videos that come throughout the week with the NFL season going on. We have a couple of other small shows we do that involve the NFL season. So if you're a big football fan, do feel free to check out those small videos as well. So yeah, make sure to comment on the videos there, as well as social media. We're on Twitter, we're on Instagram at SBBMC_POD. You could also find us by just typing in our name, which is Sports Bets, but Mostly Chaos. So thank you all so much again. We really do appreciate it. We can say that for all of us here. We enjoy doing this every single week, and it's a good time. So other than that, happy Halloween, everyone. Please be safe out there. Don't do anything too stupid. If you're drinking, don't be driving, all that good stuff. But wow, guys, I can't believe it's November coming up. Holy cow. This is insane.
And nice.
Yeah. So, all right, everybody. Thank you all again so much. We'll see y'all again very, very soon.
Yep.